The Roots of the Reformation, Tradition, Emergence, and Rupture by G.R. Evans is the subject of this video review. And Evans' book, an exceedingly long book at over 500 pages, but very well worth the time one has to invest in reading it, is the sort of book that really opens one's eyes in a different way to the period under discussion. So instead of simply listing things chronologically, as most historians do, Evans' approach is a bit more eclectic. For example, the book is divided into parts. Part 1, Bible and Church, the question begins. The idea of church, the idea of faith, where was the Bible, becoming and remaining a member of the church, penance and the recurring problem of sin, the Eucharist and the idea of sacraments, organization, making decisions and keeping together, the church and the state. Those are all the chapters in part 1, where the stage is set, really, for what comes in part 2, continuity and change in the Middle Ages, monastic life, monastic education, and awakening social concerns, the beginnings of academic theology and the invention of universities, the evangelical urge and the wandering preachers, religious experiments by the laity, rebels, dissidents, and repression, popular preaching in the Bible in the later Middle Ages. Those are the chapters of part 2. Part 3, the final section of the book, continuity and change from the Reformation. Then he discusses the Renaissance, Luther and his heirs, the moderate reformers, Henry VIII and English Lutheranism, peaceful extremists, the Anabaptist heirs of the Waldensians, Calvin and his heirs, the Puritan reformers. The Counter-Reformation, of course, receives treatment. Church and state, new political dimensions of the idea of order, and finally, Bible questions continue, in which he contains a chapter taking a stand on the King James Version, which is very interesting indeed and very much worth looking at, especially in light of the anniversary of the King James edition, which we've just observed in 2011. The book is well written. Evans is an excellent storyteller. It receives rave reviews from such folk as Timothy George, Irena Backus, David Steinmetz, J.I. Packer, too, enjoyed the book. The thing that I found so interesting about the book, besides its approach in sort of an eclectic, come at the subject from different viewpoints in different ways, is the ability of the author to really paint a picture for readers of the situation of the 16th century, and then how he draws into the contemporary situation the remaining and, in fact, lingering effects of those reformatory efforts. He connects, in other words, the past with the present, and he draws threads showing how the past still influences us today, and indeed, in many cases, in a positive way, but also in sometimes a negative way. So if you're interested in the Reformation, if you're interested in more than just a historical retelling of Luther and Zwingli and Calvin, and if you're more interested in how things worked and how they came to be and how they continue to be influential, this is a very helpful volume. I recommend it. I think that readers will enjoy it very much. And I think I would agree with Backus, who writes on the back cover, in her blurb, Evans places each controverted issue against its background of development and dispute in the Christian West from the 1st to the 16th century. The result is a refreshingly new and judicious assessment of the Reformation's true disjunctions and continuities. And I think she's just nailed it exactly. That's exactly what Evans is able to accomplish. I think this book is a tremendous asset to anyone researching or even generally interested in the period of the 16th century specifically. Have a great day.